Hey, what's good, everybody? I wanted to make this video about the crow. The crow made itself known to me the other day. If you just watched my bee spirit animal video, then I mentioned the crow. How this little journey I took, it started with the vultures, then the little bee riding with me, then the crows appeared, and I haven't seen that many crows too many times in my life. So I was like, okay, it's a huge change coming, right? Like there was probably like 50 crows on the ground, not even flying around. So it was pretty interesting, and right at the end of my journey, right? So I was like, okay, let me make a video about the crow next, right? If you watch my coyote video as well, I've mentioned how I'll see the coyote, then 555, and then the crow, right? So it always has to do with change for me, right? And also, I had bought this oracle deck yesterday, and I just pulled out two cards. The first card was the buffalo, which like to indigenous people, we view it as like the great spirit, right? Connection to the great spirit. Even how they try to kill off the buffalo, and yet it still survive, right? So there's even that strong connection, right? Like for indigenous people, the fact that it's always a reminder that we're still here, just like the buffalo and its strength to keep persevering regardless of almost being hunted to extermination at one point, right? So I pulled out the buffalo, and right after I pulled out another card, and it was the crow, right? So those were the only two cards, the buffalo and then the crow. So I was like, okay, let me make a video about the crow. So like I said, the crow has to do with changes, and just by the amount of crows there was, uh, it was a ton of changes, like so many changes. And I know for me, I'll just share it because why not, right? I've already started talking about it. I know right now I've been up in my head about, I started dealing with the doing, like, I already did two tarot readings on a tarot channel I started that I uploaded, right? And so I did some readings before, and they were all like, it seems like they were pretty dead on for the people I did them for, right? So that's why I was like, okay, let me start this channel, right? So I've been psychic pretty much my whole life. I've just never called it that, but I've always had the dreams that are very dead on, to the point that I've trusted them, where people just don't understand. Even people that I respected spiritually, they didn't really understand, because even when I tried to talk to them, they would say like, oh, well, dreams are dreams. But to me, my dreams are so dead on, it's like I can't even explain it. Like, or the fact that someone doesn't get it, that they think, well, maybe it's a choice. Like when I have dreams, it's not even a choice. They're showing me what's gonna happen. No, even, and to the point where I've even tried to change certain dreams, and they still came true. So, and then it just blows your mind. Like, did they come true because I try to change them? So maybe there was a way or something like that. But there is. At the end of the day, there is a way to make them not come true. But I think it's the spirit world teaching me that to trust myself. That's what I think the whole journey was, right? For the spirit world to let me know that, nah, this gift is maybe more than most people, right? Like, the fact that these elders that you would try to talk to couldn't grasp that concept, then maybe it was like the spirit world showing me like, no, your gifts are on a whole nother level, and you just got to trust your instinct. So that was the biggest challenge. So all that to say, the crow is also about, see, delving into your dark side. Not the dark side, but kind of like, you think of it, oh, crows, they associate them with kind of evil messages. Or it's funny, like when I was little, my mom always used to say a saying that was, cría cuervos y te sacarán los ojos, right? Like, raise crows and they'll take out your eyes. Like, it was almost like when we were misbehaving, right? Trying to say like, oh yeah, you guys, like, I guess calling us crows, right? Like you know you raise crows and they'll take out your eyes, or I don't know. I really, maybe I should ask her what the exact meaning was, right? But it's that, right? So they always had some kind of negative, even in different cultures, right? Like, I guess in the more, you know United States kind of way, it would be like, or I don't know where that comes from, European or what, about the witches and the crows, and this darkness to the crow, right? And so it does have to do with magic. It definitely does, and we know that they've they've made it like if all these magic things, if it didn't happen to me, I would have never understood it, right? Because how can something you're born with be negative, right? It's almost like they wanted to numb that. They wanted to control us so bad that anyone that might have been even more in tune than them, which probably everybody was, like, I mean, because like a lot of these people that run in these institutions, or unless they just want to keep the control, right? So they try to say, well, anyone that poses some kind of threat to us holding this authority, we gotta smash them down, right? So henceforth the thing of calling people witches and this and that. And so there's even a Native American book that talks about medicine men and their gifts, right? And I guess they used to get together and be able to show off their gifts. So I know there was a story about one man that I guess he planted corn, and we know it takes, I don't know, weeks for the corn to grow or something, but within 2 hours it was at full growth, right? And the man that wrote this was like a Spanish, like a guy from Spain, right? Like or Spain or Europe, England, something. And this man wrote about it, and sure enough, he was like, well, surely they're using witchcraft or this and that. But so literally he wrote it, right? So even that, it's sad that I have to use that as reference, but even to show you, like, from a European standpoint, it was like, oh, well, Spain, right? European, right? So it was like, oh, it's witchcraft, because it didn't go with their religious views, rather than just admit, like, whoa, these people are powerful. They have strong medicine. That's what it is, right? It's that to say these people are powerful, they got strong medicine. They're so in touch with nature that they can ask it to grow within hours, where it would normally take someone weeks for it to grow, right? So even that, it's not, I mean, to make something grow like that, it means that your connection to the universe and nature is on a whole nother level. That's beauty. Like, it doesn't get more magical than that, right? But exactly, see the the way in which people have been brainwashed is that, right? Like, they suppressed our magical powers for so long. People are just frightened, right? And right now, that's why it's funny. Like, I'm like, hey, I was born in this time. I'm taking advantage now that I'm older, now that I don't care, because the first part of my life, I was so around religious people that it did douse my fire, right? I think that's the correct word, right? I dimmed my light to make people accepting of this, right? Because everyone's been so brainwashed, right? All cultures, like, by these ways, and I'm thankful for all the indigenous people that did keep those traditions alive. Not just indigenous people, but I'm saying that's who I mostly related to, that helped me start breaking out of this pattern, right? So all that, it's all tied into the crow. I know that was long. I don't know if that made sense to anyone, but the crow has to do with that, right? It's crazy because even last night I had a dream that I was in this huge kind of, it looked like a bookstore library. I mean, I've dreamed of being in these Akashic records, and I mean, it could have been, right? But when I dreamed of that, it was like the hugest library you ever seen in your life. This one looked like a huge bookstore kind of thing. Well, more library. It was like a huge kind of library. And there was a book I picked up, and it was about alchemy. So I that last night, and then the crow has to do with alchemy. So it's really interesting that I dreamed of that last night. I was in this place, with all these books, and I grabbed a book that had like something about alchemy, and so the crow is all about that, right? Transformation. But you, like, being the master of that transformation without being afraid, right? Like, coming out of the whatever people think is dark and being able to have the courage. Because if you see crows, they're very resourceful. Nothing is gonna stop them from, if you ever seen, like, they'll open up a trash can lid and get in there and get the whatever and tear up a garbage bag. Like, they're very strong and very resourceful, right? They call them, some people will say they're like tricksters, mischievous, this and that. But what is it about that makes people say that? Is it? I mean, it's doing what it's born to. It's nature, right? It's 100% nature. So how can that be the trickster energy, right? Like it'll get into something. The coyote is more a trickster. That one I can say is a trickster because they'll do like shady stuff, right? If you know, I made the video about the coyote, and I'm pretty sure I mentioned it, right? Like they'll actually trick trick you with stuff, right? So that's the coyote, but the crow is more actually just resourceful. It's really not gonna stop until it accomplishes its goal, right? And they mimic people, so they probably learn. They watch us. Oh, they opened this trash can, so okay, if they opened it, I can open it, right? Like there's even crows that have talked. Like you could see look up videos on YouTube or something of crows talking and sounding just like humans, right? Or pretty close. I think as close as a parrot even, right? And parrots sometimes confuse you. It'll be like, oh wait, I thought a person was talking. It was a damn parrot, right? So the crows have that ability too. They can mimic people. You know, I took a picture once of these two crows kissing, and they got mad. They looked back like, hey, what the hell? We're over here having a moment, and they flew away. And it was funny to me because they really reacted like people, like, hey, why the hell are you? We're over here trying to have our moment. You're over here taking pictures of us. What the hell's wrong with you? You know? And they took off like they looked all mad, right? So it's funny. They'll mimic. They're very curious and observant and smart, right? They're very smart. I'm sure they're one of the smartest birds, actually, right? So all that to say, just think of that in your way, right? Like I guess the first part I was saying, right? How it has to do with dealing with what people may not be accepting of and being able to dive into those dark places. And that's like I just trying to tell you, like, that's what I'm going through right now. Like I was going through it. I was really up in my head about facing this new path that I'm on, right? Still having I mean, I started pretty good. Like I hit the ground running. Like I was like, okay, I'm doing this. But then boom, the doubts came in again. Like, wait, should I be doing this? Like, what if this, what if that? Like it was crazy. Like I can't believe that stuff came back. And it is a Mercury retrograde as I'm doing this, right? So, I have been having dreams of things from the past and different things, right? So it's pretty interesting that even that will come back in, the doubts, like the wow, am I doing, like, oh no, like what if, this and that. And luckily I got confirmation. So even with the crow, it's about watching, like you'll be getting the confirmations. When you're tapped in with the crow, there is a lot of symbolism going on, right? You're actually getting a lot of signs and synchronicities from the universe, right? So like I said, out of all things, what did I pull first? It was the buffalo, which is the direct connection to the Great Spirit, right? And then the crow. So it was showing me, like, even that, right? It's like, hey, you're tapped in. Don't doubt yourself, right? Like, you're doubting yourself because of the world. But when it comes to spiritually, you're tapped in. And the crow has that energy. Like I said, someone calling it a trickster and manipulative. I mean, that could be it. Like, the negative, it is. Okay, then I might as well be honest with that. Like, when I'm more tapped into the hawk, right? I've seen crows attacking the hawk. And the crazy thing about that is, like, let's say I would be having a bad day. And then I'll be like, you know what? Always, right? Nature. That's my answer. Like, I got to get out to nature. When I can't figure it out, it's like I'll feel better. And it always works. So I'll get out to nature. And even right away, boom, I'll see a hawk getting attacked by crows. There'll be like one hawk and like 4 or 5 crows or 3 crows or whatever. And I'm just like, oh, wow, like stupid crows, So I'll be mad at them in that instant, right? But then later, by the time I finish the hike, it'll be like 3 hawks, like they came to the other hawk's aid and the crows won't even get near them, right? It was like, hey, help was on the way. You just have to wait it out a little bit, right? So in those aspects, just maybe because, like, I don't know, it's something that I could see visually. So the spirit world will give me that. And they know I get the meaning, right? They know, just like the crow, right? It's intelligent, so they know, okay, he's smart enough to get what we're trying to tell him, right? So those are the only times when I've had negative encounters with the crow, right? It's like, that kind of stuff. But usually, I guess people even tie it into, messengers of death. But to me, that's never really happened. It's always been more the owl. When the owl comes, they'll show you, like right before the whole pandemic started, the owl came to me, which I've never seen in the way it came to me. The way it came to me was so obvious. that it was like a huge thing coming. So I was like, oh wow. And then boom, like I don't know, within less than a week, or I even think the next day was the first like actual lockdown. And then I looked into all that stuff, but I'll talk about the owl for another occasion. So I think that's it. I know I was probably all over the place, but just to recap, right? In case I lost you with everything I was talking about. The crow has to do with tapping into the magic, not being afraid, right? Don't be be fearless, because the crow is so adaptable and so smart that it figures its way out. It figures a way to do anything, really. Like it's not a animal that like is not gonna be able to do something, right? The crow will find a way. So if you're tapped into the crow energy, a change is coming. And even though you're in the thick of it and feeling like, oh, I can't do this, you're going to find a way, just like the crow. And if you're having doubts, look at the crow. That's why it's coming to you, to remind you like, hey, I can do it. You can do it too. So that's the whole point. Like the crow is here to remind you, like, hey, that's what the spirit animal or things are about. If I failed to mention that, like that's what it's all about. When they're coming to you, it's about tapping into that energy. They're showing you the roadmap. They're showing you the way, right? Like, I'll make a whole video about this. I think I already had, but I'll make another video about the whole spirit animal significance, right? I'll make a whole video about that because it's that important, right? The spirit animal, communication. I could just go with that and I wouldn't need nothing else, right? Like I said, like I'm tapped in, but like I think one of the things that helped me start noticing is like the spirit animals, right? Like I just knew what they were trying to tell me, and then once I started looking up the meanings, then I was like, oh wow, okay, so I'm right. Like damn, that's amazing. So almost like these animals come and talk to me telepathically, even without me even understanding what's going on. They're giving me messages. So I'm just saying, like, tap into the spirit animals. The crow, like I said, that energy is all about things are coming. Read about alchemy, learn about that. Like the book clearly wanted me to learn more about it, so I'm even gonna look it up, right? I want to know exactly. I've never really looked into it to that. I mean, there's whole books on it. Like it's been studied for, by ancient civilizations. So what exactly do they want me to learn about alchemy? It's deeper. Maybe it has to do with that example I shared about someone being able to grow a plant, to tap into this energy of this plant. I mean, there's people that can't make a plant grow even with the regular means, right? They have to buy special soil and this and that. So how can a medicine man make a plant grow 2 hours to its full growth when some people can't even make them grow for weeks or months or whatever? So I don't know where the alchemy is, but I'm sure they want me to learn, especially with the crow energy. I'll end it there because I think I was all over the place, but hopefully you got something from it. There's other people with some really good crow videos, so you could check them out too. I mean, to me, it doesn't matter. It's all about the message. So, but if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please do. I have so many videos on here about from spirit animals. If you like short stuff, the short, I'm trying to go, I'm going to eventually try to get through all the animals, right, that I can in the shorts, right? So if you just want a quick, less than a minute, boom, 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 these are the key points of these animals. Look at my shorts, right, the YouTube shorts, and you'll see I already have maybe at least over, I don't know, maybe 10 to 15 animals that I've posted so far. So yeah, hope you guys are well. Like I said, don't forget to subscribe, like, all that stuff, comment, let me know your story, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace. That's right. Yeah, sometimes you just feeling it, you know what I'm saying? You just feeling it. And I want to feel this way forever.